Steve, I see your face on a video doing this. I see the Glazers. What's happened? Well, give me a minute. I'm about to tell you what's happened, innit? Right? And it ain't good news. Is it that they've sold? Is that why you're doing that face? No, that's a different face. But still tissues involved, but it's a different reason. What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. They don't want to go, lads. They just won't leave. Like a bad fart. And you've opened the windows and you've done a bit of wafting. And they still ain't going. They want 6 billion for a club that's valued around 4.5 and in some circles valued at around about 1.5. Dean B says that's the run out of run face. It's a coincidence that that face is the same as the Glazers haven't gone face, but you're right, it is that we've run out of run face. However, have you seen in there? We ain't running out of rum anytime soon, my friend. There would have to be a rum shortage and the Caribbean sink before we run out of rum. We're fine. Don't worry about me and my rum stock. Right, amongst the Glazer siblings, all 6 of them, it is understood that there is indecision when it comes to selling because each has their own intentions. Lovely. And 2 of them don't want to go. And they want way more money for it. 6 Glazer siblings, 6 billion valuation. Is it a coincidence? Probably not. Because they all probably want to walk away with $1 billion in their hand like, boom, I'm a billionaire. Lucky me. What did you do to do that, billionaire? Rinsed a load of Manx. So some of the bidders want to bid somewhere in the region of 4.5 billion. Like I said, there's a one valuation, which I think is a little bit low because it's not taking into account the sort of emotional factor and the growth factor, which has got everyone about 1.5 billion. That's not right. That's definitely not right. But when you consider some of the investment into the club is going to basically lead to further investment. Like you might be able to buy Manchester United today, 6 billion. Bosh, right? I don't know if that includes you paying off their debt that they got, that they're not touching. They're like, no, this is my £1 billion. You're not touching it. They might not even sell the club's debt with that. They might expect you to do that. So, okay, your 6 billion has just become 6.7 billion. Nice one. Oh, what's that? Old Trafford needs a little bit more than a lick of paint. 6.7 becomes 7.5 billion, right? Do you want to do anything with Carrington? Do you want to expand into the next Farmers Field? Do you want to get some 3G pitches down so you can actually train on the thing regardless of the weather at all times? You're probably looking at more like 8 billion, right? So when they just, how do you just throw on an extra 1.5 billion pound on a valuation or something? Yeah, that's what we'll sell at. Now, I hope it's a negotiation tactic. I hope it's a negotiation tactic. Some people in the comments saying they are going to get taxed on it. Are they? Not as much as we've been taxed by having them. Well and truly taxed. Is it me or is every single decision that they make infuriating? Right, either way, apparently the family wants any deal agreed in the next month. And getting that done in the next month looks like it's in doubt. A sale by the end of the season. Doable. Likely, I don't know about that. They've not been offered what they thought they might get. I think they thought there was going to be a bidding war. I'll be honest. I thought there probably was going to be a bidding war as well. But this is how they've run this thing into the cliff. Because it hasn't had the bidding war because it's not successful. Do you know if they'd have tried to sell us in 2011-12, they might not have got as much, but the bidding war might have lifted it. And they wouldn't have had 10 years of people hating them for it. Have I got the bat ready? The cultural reset bat, as we like to call it, is always ready. Never more than 2 feet away from the cultural reset tool, right? So, they're delaying. And it could be a negotiation tactic. It could be because there's genuine indecision about what they want to do. But they need to get the fuck out of our club, don't they? Mr. Arnold says we need $1 million that, Mr. Arnold. We need a 1 million fan march / riot outside Old Trafford. Madan says they are not getting taxed. Hello from Guatemala, says HBB. Scott says, I reckon it's all been for clicks to enhance the stock price. I'm not... Yeah, but didn't they say that they might keep hold of it and the stock price hit the floor? Like, you know, these people are absolute weapons. Like when Michael Knighton came out and was like, I have got a bid being prepared, the money is pledged, and the stock price literally went up. You literally made it harder for someone to come in with your little fantasy, mate. Peter Knight says, Steve, why wouldn't Qatari pay? They hardly short of cash. They're not, but they might not be idiots either. Just because you got loads of dough doesn't mean that you're going to let these lot have your pants down, because that's clearly what they're doing. Look, the valuation of 4.5 billion is based on inflated share prices anyway, not the true value of the club. You've got to take into account the debt and the contracts that we're already committed to, the fact that we don't know whether the TV bubble is going to burst. All of these factors play into the value of the football club. And then they've gone, cool, whatever that says, another 30% on top. They'd be idiots to just pay it. As much as he might want to do it and he might be prepared to do it, you don't show your hand by saying, I'll just pay whatever you want. The Glazers have to try and get the best price that they can. And the Qataris are also going to want to get the best price that they can. And them just going, I'd like your football club and I'll pay whatever you want, sir, is not going to do them very well, is it? Daniel says, that's the amount that will scratch their itch and convince all 6 American sports teams sell for $3-4 billion and don't reach outside the States. United well run is worth a ton. Agree. Raf says if they end up staying, they will get attacked like never before. After Dick teasing us that they might go now, I think it would be quite unbearable for them to stick around. Mental. Notch says the richer they get, the more frugal they get. That's why I'll never have any money, because I get off my nut if I've got any money in my pocket. We're having it. Should we do shots? James says, if they want 6 billion, I can only see Qatar buying us. That was it. Damien says, Man United headquarters in the Cayman Islands. Glazers are walking away tax-free. The sale of the club might be tax-free, but when they try and bring that into America, there will be taxes paid upon that, because that'll be earnings still. But yeah, the greed is insane. The greed is absolutely insane. They've basically just sat on this asset, done jack shit to it, seen it crumble from underneath them. Have they been innovative, right? No one cares if anyone earns something on the back of their hard work. Nobody. No one begrudges the players the money that they get earned. There might be an eyebrow raised about, you're paying him how much, right? But it's on the back of their hard work. What have they done? Here's what they've done. They had the credit rating none of us are ever going to get, where someone will lend us 660 million, no questions asked. They then put that debt on the club and then sat on it. Was they innovative? No. Were they trying to make the club the top of the sports science tree? No. Did they do anything commercially innovative? The one thing that they did, which actually impressed me from a commercial point of view, was selling the naming rights of our training ground for 100 million. Brad, you get a fucking long weekend, because that was sensational, techers. 100 million to name something no one's ever allowed to go, and it's down a private road and you can't even see it if you drive past it. Fucking sensational bit of work that was. But outside of that, what have they done where you go, wow, we were really thinking on our feet there? Fucking nothing. We should have had a Netflix of Manchester United 10 years ago, where you pay $9.99 a month, and you can just go, show me the Cup Winners' Cup run. Boom. Take your pants off and sit there and watch the fucking lot of it, yeah? From Wrexham, through Montpellier, to Barcelona in the final, right? What's that? $19.99 every 90 minutes of the entire season. Do you know how many people would have signed up for that during COVID? You would have cleared the club's debt when we wasn't allowed to reach our house. We all completed Netflix, and you go, here's every Manchester United game that's ever happened, including some in fucking black and white from the 1800s, $9.99 a month. Boom, the entire fucking planet signs up to it and sits there watching United 1992 against fucking Sheffield Wednesday when it was pissing down, right? You would have cleared the fucking debt. You haven't got a brain in your heads. They sat there with their arms folded and watched the TV money come in, did fuck all for it, and are going to cash their chips out for £1 billion. Are you on your nut? If they'd have done one thing that was imaginative or high level or genius, you'd have gone, yeah, fair play, you've earned that money. I don't really like you, but go on with yourself. Do you know what I mean? Why not? Why? Why have you not done any of these things? Fucking clowns. You could have even charged $19.99 a month, right? And linked it to the fucking treble somehow. And made it sound like a good deal. And people would have paid it. I'd have paid it. What's that? Full 90 minutes. Get me on that. And here's the other thing. I know MUTV have got that. They've got all of those things on hard drives, just fucking doing nothing. Absolute joke. Literally, your mate who runs a fucking sandwich shop has got more business acumen than these idiots. Winston says, hi, Steve, from Ghana. What's happening? Amir says, I've heard Rio's story about where Rio slipped on his first day of training and heard Ollie say, how much? Brian says, only good thing they've done is get rid of Woodward and getting Arnold and Ten Hag. Woodward only went because he was the fall guy for the European Super League. He wouldn't have gone. Kevin, I believe this is a negotiation tactic and they'll probably let it go for 5.5 billion. M says, apparently Sheikh Jasmine's father said he's unsure his son taking over United is the right thing on the David Rubenstein show. Oh, not seen that. That might be interesting. SSM UFC says, is football fans are simple. Is football 1L fans are simple and easy to win over? That shows how off it the Glazers are. They couldn't win over football fans. Oh, got it. We got there in the end. $9.99 from Mr. Arnold. I'm not sure if that's Mr. Arnold. Says I deserve that for the $9.99. Cheers, mate. John says, I'm not reading that out. I'm not going to read chats out that recommend going over to Florida and unaliving them. It's a bit too far. Just want them to fuck off. Raf says, so what you're telling me is I don't believe Ed Woodward when he said he left because he was disgusted with the Super League idea. No, I reckon he walked in there and was like, chaps, have I got the idea for you? Sit down. Mushfix says, off topic, thanks for recommending Tipping Point. Finally got around to watching it. It's effing brilliant. It is. It's not just good because it's Rio and I know Rio. It's genuinely high level, right? And I think I've said this a few times, right? I see documentaries on both Amazon and Netflix and go, I could have done that. I could literally have done that. And when you hear about how much some of these documentary companies charge, you sit there and be like, fucking how much? Wow. A day? Wow. But I watched Tipping Point and it's one of the few documentaries where I watched it and went, yeah, I couldn't have done that. This was fucking brilliant. Like, from a cinematography point of view, it was absolutely sensational. The fake American dude says, what pisses me off is that they know that the valuation of the club is nowhere near that, but it's like they want a piece of the successful future we'd have if we'd had competent owners. Hostad says, for the last 15 years, I've watched every game apart from one, 5:30 p.m, Saturday 26th of April, 2014, United Norwich 4-0. I want to watch it. Wow. Shout. Matthew says, just joined, but it's disgusting. These people think that they can stay here. Talking with H says, from Kuala Lumpur. Hello there. James says, am I getting the sausage rolls out for the cup treble and second place finish? I can't remember. I've promised sausage rolls for so many different things. Pretty sure we're doing a sausage roll party when the Glazers go. That's on ice at the minute, according to all of this lot. Does the plastic treble and third warrant sausage rolls? I mean, we're not talking about like Meatballs from Pret a Manger here. We're talking about Greg's sausage rolls, the good stuff. We're not getting the good stuff out for a second place, are we? I thought we were better than that. Liam says, would I sell McTominay and bring back Hannibal to do that job, or is he not ready yet? I do need to watch more of Hannibal at the moment this season, because I know he's had a couple of good reviews, but it's very quiet in between them. And whenever there's a good performance from a United player on loan, generally it's quite loud about it. So I would assume he's not having that many good performances. Chamberlain said, would love an FA Cup. Barcelona was great, but Europa isn't. Can't wait for 3 p.m. kickoff next season. Dean B says, plastic treble and third sausage roll party. Count me in. Raphael says, where's that gone? Do I think the Glazers will ever sell? I'm really not sure at the moment. I'm struggling with whether or not this is a negotiation tactic or whether they're actually chatting shit. I'm really unsure. What's my total weight loss since we started? I got down to 237, which was about £60 lost. And right now I'm about 244. So I've gone up about half a stone since middle of Qatar because of being ill over Christmas. And then I developed plantar fasciitis in my feet, which has just stopped me doing all sorts of stuff. But we have got a challenge coming up hopefully very soon. We're just signing it off with a partner that's helping us do it. So look out for that very, very soon. It should be pretty cool when we do it. Something that the entire community can get in, and it'll be a very low barrier to entry. So it's not going to be like, we're going to climb Everest every day for 30 days. We'll be doing something for 30 days, and you guys can get in the mix. And I think we can do it as a community, and I think it'd be pretty awesome. So keep an eye out for that. We'll probably be launching it in the next couple of weeks. 560 Plays says, thoughts on Carrick at Middlesbrough? Absolutely flying. Absolutely flying. He's doing very well. I hope he just sticks around there, because I don't know where he goes from here. Because you can't make Middlesbrough a success in the Premier League. So I don't know what you do from here now. Monchin says, if new owners come in, how do I feel about Richard Arnold staying on as CEO? I think he's not done bad for a first year, and unfair to judge him the same as Ed. I agree. I think him sitting down to talk to fans was a massive step, and something that I thought was extremely brave of him, and clearly something that some didn't do. Anatoly says, hey Steve, cheers from Bulgaria. So we are Balkan and we have a reputation for being money seekers, but the Glazers are on another level. Amaya says, thoughts on Ramsey getting a job with Wales? Part-time work. I think Ten Hag is going to be okay with that. I haven't seen that, actually. But it is part-time work. I'm sure it's probably something that they're able to organise fairly straightforward like. Matthew says, 3 players we need to bring in next season, in my opinion. I would love a Jude Bellingham, a striker. Probably a first choice right back, I would think. That would probably do me. Robert says, I'm not reading about that because we're not talking about him. AJ Wright says, Elon Musk's no longer in the mix. I don't think he ever was in the mix. I don't know what he does when he gets on Twitter. He just spouts all sorts of shit. Any updates on the City case? Oh, I'm sure you'll find out when they have. Robert Gurgis says, I've lost £42 so far. I think a 30-day diet program by Isagenix and improve my eating habits big time after that. So yeah, stay tuned. It'll be a 30-day challenge that we're going to do. 30 days is well doable, everyone. So get in the mixer with it. So Eric Ramsey has signed on as Wales assistant manager. That's very interesting. That is very interesting. Raphael says, Amad Diallo to be a first-team regular next season. Probably more like a squad player, I imagine. Ed says, think we need to try and get Levi Colwill in the Chelsea fire sale. I like your thinking. I'm a big fan of Colwill. Think he's good. David says, with Ten Hag guaranteed to win everything, do I think the Glazers are now wanting a piece of that pie? Yeah, I do. I think that's a big factor of it. Anthony Jarvis says, Steve, can you imagine if I own Twitter? It might be exactly the same as as it is now with Elon Musk, but with more swearing. Am I doing the Goggins challenge this weekend? Has he dedicated this weekend to doing it? No, I'm not actually, but it is a challenge that I am going to do at some point. So that's the 4x4x48. So that's 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, and I believe it works out at doing 48 mile. Is that right? So 2 marathons in basically 2 days in 4 mile chunks. I'm thinking of doing that with weight. Maybe I do 4x4x48 by 48. So let's do 48 pound for all of that lot. Maybe I'll do that. How many of the players that are currently out on loan do I think should get a chance next season? Well, I think Laird needs a chance. I think Diallo needs looking at. Hannibal. They all probably need to have something going on, I think. 1 game away from Wembley. Do I think we've got a Manc derby final? I don't sweat them. Do you sweat them? Does anyone sweat them at the moment? Does anyone look at Manchester City and go, don't want to play them at the moment? I think everyone's looking at us and saying, I don't want to play them at the moment. Rajveer says, what do I think about from Napoli? Player. Derek says, do you think we will be best where we are if we don't lose the Brentford and Brighton? Do I think we would be where we are if we didn't lose the Brighton and Brentford games? No, I think it's all part of the process. The wins, the losses, everything. The form that we're in at the moment is absolutely sensational, isn't it? Absolutely sensational. And I think that without going through those, without the 6-3 Manchester derby, I don't think he undertakes things in a certain manner without that. I think everything that's happened has led us to this point, so you can't change anything in the past because it affects your future. Butterfly effects and all that stuff. I wouldn't swap him for anyone. Would you? Who in world football right now would you go, oh, do you know what? I'd swap him for Ten Hag. Because there isn't a manager in world football that I would swap for Ten Hag right now. And there's not a manager that could pick his own player combo that I would swap just for Ten Hag. He's absolutely killing it. Rahul says, do I think we beat Liverpool on Sunday? There's loads of content coming out about that. Why don't you hit the subscribe button? Why don't you hit the like button? And I will catch you guys. Raj has just banged in a super chat. I'll read that before we get off. Raj says, as good as a hard worker as Ten Hag is, he is lucky with Woodward going for the Super League. Rudolph giving more power. Casemiro, De Jong and Leisha for Timber. Yeah. Because I think that could have gone the other way, I reckon. Robert Wilhelm says, how much of a role, if any, do you think Ralph played in the change the club has gone through? Is it possible he put a mirror on the club and that made the club approach Ten Hag differently? Again, though the circumstances and everything that surrounded Ralph and everything that happened with Ronaldo all led us to the point where we are today. And I wouldn't change any of it. Happy? Hit subscribe. Make sure to like the video. Check out all the rest of the content from yesterday and everything coming out for this weekend. Huge weekend against the Scousers, but we'll talk about all of that in our preview a little bit later on. And me and Ronnie have got a video about it too, so come and check all of those things out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to